Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I have a very exciting success story of how one of my clients manifested her specific person back, okay, after months of not talking. And she sent me this super detailed email on everything that went down. And this is a really good one, okay? I swear, like, this is really going to uplift your spirits and help you regain motivation if you've been feeling like, nothing's happening or there's no movement, or, you just need a little bit of a pick-me-up. This is definitely going to help. This is a really good one, super detailed. Okay, so I can't wait to share that with you. But before I do that, I did want to quickly introduce that I do have group manifestation sessions going on. Check out the description box below where you can find my website, and I have a bunch of services. So one-on-one manifestation coaching. My client actually booked a call with me. So if that's something that you're interested in, yeah, again, check out my website. You'll see like everything that I have to offer. But yeah, going back to the group manifestation coaching, we do meditation, EFT tapping, emotional freedom technique tapping. We do a journaling exercise, scripting, and affirmations. Okay, so it's a really great session. In fact, I have another client who saw movement right after that session, like within the day, and that's going to be for another video. I'm going to tell you all about that. But yeah, just check that out if that is something of interest. Okay, but yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get started with sharing this story, because yeah, it's a really good one. Like, I'm so proud of her for like persisting. And yeah, but anyways, hi Enchanted, I am writing you the success story while shaking because I manifested almost everything I was affirming and scripting for. WTFFF. So literally 2 weeks after a coaching call, my SP told me he loves me and has always liked me and had feelings for me. Long story short, before I get into this and recap the details, manifestation is 100% real, and you were right about focusing on self-concept. That really is a game changer. I used the affirmations you gave me and just said them every day, and I felt good about myself and took him off the pedestal while still wanting him and liking him though, lol. And right, SP's name here, reflected that back to me. So what happened was that he visited my city, which is something I manifested because he lives at a distance from me, but I got him to come with just my thoughts and desires, which I'm still on cloud 9 about, and I'm always posting stories. So he slid in my DMs and hit me up asking where that restaurant was where I was at. So like, she posted some story of her being at a restaurant, and her SP ended up sliding on her story and asking like, oh, where is this? And then I looked at his story, which I never do through my real account but my fake one, lol, and saw that he was in my city. So after he DM'd me, I was like, oh cool, you're here too. Really casually, I just played it super chill. I know that he DM'd me because he wanted me to look at his story and ask about it. Even if that wasn't the case, I just assumed that's why, because why would he hit me up out of nowhere? So that's what I tell people to do, okay? Like, everything that happens, you just have to assume that they're into you, that they're doing this to get your attention. Okay, he followed someone else. Oh yeah, he's clearly doing that to get my attention. Okay, you have to be a little bit delusional. I know that's like the weirdest advice ever, but it really does work. But I like how she, like, just assumed that, he was making an excuse to talk to her. Yeah, so she said we hadn't talked since February, since I kind of cut him off because I was too triggered with the 3D. But that's the old story which I talked to you about, which I won't get too much into. But basically, we were talking through Instagram, and he was really happy to hear from me, and we ended up making plans together with his and my friends. Fast forward, we hung out a day later, and it was so much fun, and I heard everything, and I mean everything, that I was affirming for. She wrote that in caps. Actually, before I tell you what happened, he texted me through text, not Instagram, the night before we were going to meet up. He texted me a video of some music festival he went to. Not gonna lie, I knew he had my number, but for some reason I couldn't fathom him texting me, even though I was affirming for that, since we usually communicated through Snapchat and Instagram, which goes to show that you don't really have to believe in your affirmations for them to work. So basically, she didn't think that, he was gonna text her from, her actual number, like as iMessage, whatever, since they usually communicated through social media. But that is something she wanted. I remember her saying like, yeah, she likes it when, like, people text you through the actual, yeah, iMessage, whatever. So yeah, I couldn't fathom him texting me, so you don't have to believe in your affirmations. But basically, SP, and I were hanging out with his and my friends, and he said out loud in front of our friends, his male friends, mind you, that insert client's name is a special person in my life. Like, he straight up said that, oh, she's a special person in my life, in front of all their friends and his male friends, which yeah, my client also told me that, like, how in past relationships, like, sometimes the guy she dated wouldn't necessarily introduce her to her friends, or, like, you know, she was always worried about, like, what people would say about her to her friends. And it's like, that's kind of a big thing, like, you know, personally, like, speaking from my experience as well, like, for a guy to say, like, wow, this is a special person in my life in front of his friends, because, like, you know how there's that whole thing about, like, not wanting to be a simp in front of your friends, and masculinity and all of that stuff, like toxic masculinity, whatever. But yeah, you know, something that I told her, like, is that she should see men in a more, like, you know, in a more positive manner. Okay, like, I give this example so much, but if you're going to keep saying men are trash, women are trash, blah blah blah, that's exactly the type of behavior you're going to get. So I told her to change her concept about men, about relationships, about how guys treat you in and outside of the relationship, in and outside of the connection, because she was really affirming for wanting to be shown off, wanting to be, like, you know, praised and admired in public, which is something that everyone deserves when they're in a relationship or connection. So yeah. Okay, and the reason, okay, where was I? This is a really long email. Like, I love it. Like, you know, it's so detailed. Yeah, special person in my life. And the reason why he said that was they were spilling the tea on my SP, like, basically saying embarrassing things about him from college. And so maybe they didn't want me to hear that. It wasn't about other girls or anything. It's just his mistakes. And get this, she wrote in all caps, he said, and I quote you, that insert client's name only gets the best version of me. So she was affirming for that, like, I only manifest the best versions of people, which is something that I tell my clients to say. And he literally said, like, she only gets the best version of me, like, saying my client's name in front of his friends. Okay, so yeah, like, he quite literally reflected her affirmations verbatim, like, oh, she only gets the best version of me. I was freaking out for her. Like, I was, you know, just so happy to, like, hear that, because that proves that manifestation is real. Like, whatever words you say, I promise you, if you stick to that, if you persist, if you stay consistent, and you tell yourself, like, this is the only thing that I'm going to see, other people will reflect that back to you, sometimes verbatim, like in this case. So yeah. Only gets the best version of me. That is literally the affirmation I wrote during our manifestation coaching call, WTF. The affirmation was, I always manifest the best versions of people, and I only get the best version of him. And the best version is exactly what I got. He didn't want his dark or shadow side revealed to me because he wants me to view him in the best light, which is exactly what you said in one of the piles in your last tarot reading that I picked. I used to think those readings were more of just a pick-me-up, but what you said was actually so accurate. I'm shook. Like, all those nice things you said, even in the general reading, came true, as well as in the personal reading that you did for me. I also do personal tarot readings. Yeah, he really did have feelings for me all along. Also, I was drinking a bit much that day, which is so out of character, but basically I asked his friends to pass me a drink, and they were going to, and he was like, no, don't give that to her, she's had too much, and took some of my drink and poured it into his cup. I felt so taken care of that day. Like, that's such a sweet thing that he remembered I'm not much of a drinker and that I'm lightweight. And actually, he was observing me and being conscientious of how much I was drinking. I felt so seen and heard and cared for. The thing is, like I told you, SP and I have always had a smooth relationship without any toxicity, and we've always had the most love and respect for each other, to the point where I don't know or think anything bad about him. The only problem was that we had an on and off thing followed by periods of separation, but he would always come back like a boomerang. You can use that as an affirmation. They always come back like a boomerang. Yeah, I really like that. And the only other thing that triggered me is that he would follow a lot of girls on social media, but that's only after we broke up, so that's not something I should even be upset about. But of course, since I had feelings for him, that would hurt seeing. But I noticed his following count hasn't gone up in a long time. In fact, it went down. Like, did he follow people, unfollow people? I don't know, but I'm just going to assume that. Like, he's always been loyal and respectful to me as far as I know. The only thing that sucks is the distance, which I'm still working on. But anyways, that was just part one. After we were done hanging outside, I invite him and his friends back to my place, and we all had a good time. But then his friends left, and he said, and he was the only one that stayed back, obviously. um, it was kind of funny, but like after his friends left, we started making out, but then his friends came back in because they didn't properly close the door as like a joke or troll. They came back in and said, nah, we decided to stay, and I freaked the fuck out because we were literally making out, OMG, but then they left. But I also got the feelings that his friends were into me, LMAO, TMI, but I think my self-concept was popping, like it was on fire. I always get hit on and looks in it. I always get looks from people in a good way, but yeah, I think his friends were kind of flirty with me, but still respected boundaries. But like, I'm just taking it as a compliment because I only want him, LOL. But anyways, his friends left, and SP told me that they actually had a really good time, and then we started getting intimate. I'll leave out those details, LOL. Actually, we didn't go all the way because he was like, I want this to be special. It's been a while since we talked, so we just made out and had a deep conversation about life and her relationship. And this is the part that made me feel like I was dreaming. Basically, he said that he loves me and started talking about how he's always liked me, he's always had feelings for me, and that there's definitely something in between us. I was like on air, like I was like flying. I was on cloud nine when she told me about this, but she's like, this is the moment that made her feel like she was on cloud nine. She literally thought she was dreaming. But yeah, you know, she said that, okay, where was I? That was like so exciting. Wow. Um, okay. Basically, okay, yeah, no, I already said that. I, being on defense mode a little, said, we're just friends though, or something like, as a friend though, right? After he said that he loved me, and he was like, you know, I really love you, I like you, and that there is something deeper between us. And I continue to say, like, as friends, right? Just because I still need to work on accepting that love, but I just didn't want to get hurt. So I sort of used that, like, you know, I think she used that as sort of like a self-defense mechanism, just to like, you know, um, just I feel like she was just like so uh blown away. Like she told me like in a follow-up email that like, you know, I've really been working on accepting the love that I deserve, but like at that time that, you know, she just like could not believe what she heard. So just as like you know, a way to like not get hurt, she would say like, oh, as friends, right? But then SP told her like, no, not as friends, there definitely is something between us. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just like summarizing this bit. Do you think if, oh yeah, he said to which he said, do you think just friends make out? Do you think if we were friends, we would be doing this? Also, to recap, we only dated for a couple of months a while back, but like 2 weeks in, he introduced me to his friends and family. Like I said hi to his parents and he would talk to them about me. And I brought that up jokingly. I was like, do you do that to all the girls you date? You always introduce them to their parents, to your parents? And he was like, no, actually, you're the last one I introduced to my parents. So a bit of a recap, we met in 2021 and dated for a couple months, but then I had to go back to my city for work and he had to go back to his city for work and family, but we still talked a lot after that. Like adding up, we talked for at least 9 to 10 months. We were talking every week, some weeks every day. During this time, I liked him, but dated other people, and he did too, and I was okay with it because he was trying to do long distance. But then I realized I really liked him and that I wanted us to be in the same place because I know if we were, we would date. And he said that as well. Like if we were in the same place, we would be dating right now. That's when I came to you. And after our call, I saw so much movement. It was crazy, like too much to take in, but in a good way. Also, I remember expressing an insecurity about being shy to meet his parents when we were dating because we dated during the pandemic and the salons were closed and I hadn't done my eyebrows, LOL. And I was like, I can't believe I looked like that last year. And he was like, what are you talking about? My mom thought you were so pretty and you're so pretty now too. And he went on about my looks and hyped me up so much. This goes to show that it's okay to have insecurities and not 100% perfect self-concept and still manifest what you want. This is something I talk about, okay? So having a great self-concept is great, you know, being confident in yourself is great, but you don't have to be perfect and high vibrational all the time in order for you to manifest what you want, okay? Um, yeah, I'm definitely working on self-concept and always will, but in one of your videos, I remembered you said that exact thing about how it's okay to be insecure and you'll still manifest because at the end of the day, your partner should be there for you and make you feel loved and hype you up because when you do have an off day, because that's the staple of a good relationship. For this, I use the affirmation, I am always fully loved and accepted no matter what. I'm going to repeat that again. I am always fully loved and accepted no matter what. The no matter what makes a world of a difference, okay? Because you deserve to be loved at your highest point and lowest point and everything in between. Um, yeah. for the most part, I am confident, but yeah, we all have our insecurities. I think he thinks of me as a sweet, sensitive girl after all this, which I am, and I'm really showing up as my authentic self with high and low points and still being shown respect, love, and being accepted. I also use the affirmation you said about being able to be my authentic self and being completely accepted and comfortable in my relationship. Again, you can say things like, I always show up as my authentic self, and I am always completely accepted and comfortable in my relationship. Or you can use this in all my interpersonal relationships. Okay. Yeah, your affirmations are gold. I swear. Thank you. They work so well. Uh, yeah. Right, yeah. And after that, she said, I also said something about me not actually no, before I say that, I wrote a little like note here. I wanted to let you know it's not my affirmations that makes it happen. That's why in my calls I don't just give affirmations. I also explain to you why they work. I think that is really important. I could just tell you what to say all day, every day. There's like a million affirmations, but in like all my coaching calls, I make it a point to explain why these work, because when you tell people, oh, this works because of this and this, it's likely to like, saturate and impress onto their subconscious mind. It's just like, as humans, like, when we know how something works, why something works, it's just more likely to be more potent. It's more likely for we just feel more comfortable and natural saying it. That's another affirmation you can use. Like, I always just feel so comfortable and natural affirming, because I know some of you ask like, oh my gosh, what if I don't believe in my affirmations? You never have to believe in them. But if you do have a hard time believing in them, you can say things like, it is easy for me to believe in them. It is easy for me to accept my affirmations. It's easy for me to shift to this new mindset, this new way of thinking. Okay, every single thing that you're complaining about, that you see a problem with or in, I promise you there's a counter affirmation for that, 100%. So yeah. But yeah, no, I really just wanted to make a point. It's not even my affirmations, it's the way that you implement them. It's the way that they impress onto your subconscious mind, and also the whole consistency, diligency, persistency aspect of that as well. Okay, so that is also something that I wanted to point out here. I'm glad I wrote that as a note. Like, I literally annotated my email or her email that she sent me. Yeah, your affirmations are gold. I swear. Okay, I already said that. Okay. Also, she wrote this thing. I'm just gonna like summarize it a little bit about like how there was a third party in the relationship, and by third party, it was a friend. It was a friend that her SP got really close to. It was a female friend that her SP got really close to, and she didn't think my client didn't think she was a good influence in his life. In fact, his parents didn't even like her because, let's just say she was doing something in life, like her profession was not very like respectable. I'm not going to say what it is, but like his parents did not approve of her because they thought that she was like a bad influence on his life, and like it was kind of like not like adding to his life, sort of like demotivating him. My SP, my client even said like, oh, I think she was like literally making him a little bit like dumber because he's a very intellectual person, but I didn't really stand their friendship. And like she said, like, I wish that girl the best of luck. I wish that she like finds other better friends that are more suitable for her. Like, she had like no resentment or hate towards that girl. She just didn't really like their relationship, and neither did his parents. Okay, neither did my client's SP's parents. And she also told me about how they actually like stopped being friends. Like, they completely cut off their friendship, like literally months after she affirmed for that. Like, she didn't like focus too much on this 3P. She just said like, okay, I hope he's with friends that are better. I hope she finds other friends that are better. Yeah, so that goes to show like manifesting a 3P away is the easiest thing ever. But she also detailed how that happened. I'm just going to summarize it a bit, but basically her SP's like family was just like, I don't want you hanging around this girl, aka the girl best friend. Yeah, I don't know why I said girl best friend, but like that has been going around on TikTok a lot, like people getting like suspicious about like guys who have like very attractive girl best friends and girls who have very attractive like guy best friends. And she even said that like she doesn't care that like he does have a lot of very attractive like female friends, but this girl specifically just really was not a good influence, was really like affecting his mental health. She would like sort of be very codependent on him, and like she was getting to the point where she was like spiraling out of control and like sort of going crazy and like hurting my SP a lot because of her codependency. And it just was not a relationship that I wanted him to be around. But I wished her healing. I wished her healing on her mental health. That's something I told her to do. Like, anytime you have a 3P, like, don't be mean towards them. Don't say anything mean. Don't affirm bad things for them. Just say like, okay, they have good mental health. Like, they'll find someone else that's like more suitable for a friendship. But basically she said that her SP's family said that like I'm not gonna, SP's family told SP and that girl, like, we don't like your friendship, we don't want you coming to our home anymore, because apparently like she would go to his house and they'd hang out in each other's homes. And yeah, she herself, like the 3P, was like, yeah, I don't think this relationship is working out. Your parents don't even accept me as a friend. Like, this isn't going to go anywhere. And my client also said, literally the day after they hung out, that first day where she was hanging out with him and his friends and her friends, after that she checked Instagram and she saw that this 3P and SP had blocked each other. All the likes from his post disappeared. That's how apparently you can tell if they're blocked. And they were not following each other on social media anymore. And like, she was really happy about that. Yeah, and again, like she said, like, I really want to stress that like I do wish the best for this 3P. I just don't think it was a very like conducive relationship for my SP, because he deserves to be with people that are healthy, like-minded. And he did all the best he could to help her, which I really, which like my client said that she really admired him for and respected him for, and it's a very good thing that he did that. But at the end of the day, she just felt like he deserved better. So that's also something I wanted to point out. Yeah, but I'm gonna read the rest of this. Yeah, so where was I? Oh my gosh, this is so long. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I also said something about me not being his type, and he was like, actually, you changed my type. And I didn't mind this because I took this as a compliment, because I knew he dated people when we were in separation, and so did I. And I was chill with it because it's not like we were in a relationship and it's not like he owed me anything. But when he continued to talk to me, even though we moved, I was so surprised because not many guys did that in the past. And I felt so appreciated because he chose to talk to me and never once asked me for scandalous pictures. We were just friends, but with a flirtiness, but kind of like a wholesome flirtiness. But that's how I knew he liked me for me. He just genuinely enjoyed my company and appreciated me as an individual. That's also why I really fell for him. And the best part is that it was mutual. In fact, I used the affirmation you gave me: my love is and has always been fully reciprocated. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. My love is and has always been fully reciprocated. I actually don't remember everything that was said, but just like that I like and love you part. And then we cuddled into the morning and I was floating on air. Wow, that night was a dream come true. Also, in our reality, unrequited love doesn't exist. That's not even possible. Okay, so if you've dealt with that in the past, if your SP has said, oh, I don't love you, I don't like you, trust me, you can change that. That doesn't exist. If you manifested a version of them that could say that, you can manifest a version of them that does love you, that isn't you. And saying things like my love has always been fully reciprocated will help you heal from that memory, from those triggers, and you will see that everyone will fall head over heels in love with you. Okay, definitely the people that you want to feel that way for you as well. So yeah, okay, trying to find where I left off. Wow, that night was like a dream come true. He was still in town for the next few days, and we decided to meet up a couple days later. Keep in mind that he initiated everything, which I was so happy about. He came over and he was still acting all lovey-dovey and chanted. When we agreed to meet up, I literally thought we were just going to hang out as friends and platonically and just catch up, because I was so sure he had girls he was talking to back home. And oh my gosh, I just remembered that when we were hanging out with his friends, after his friends left that day, he said there's no one, like there's no one else back at home, because before we started like making out, I just wanted to make sure he was single, and he literally said there's no one. And I think it checked out because I saw his follower count was the same while he was in my city, which means he wasn't like adding people through dating apps, and it was magical. Like, that's even an understatement. I cannot express to you like how great that moment was, those couple days with him were. But yeah, it was just so surprising because he was so touchy-feely with me, holding hands in public, hyping me up in public. But yeah, when he came over that day, he picked me up and twirled me, and I sat on his lap, and oh my gosh, the butterflies I felt. I was on edge and nervous, but was still trying to act confident, like I'm on the pedestal and he meets me there, which is exactly what you told me to do during our call. That is something that I say, but I still get butterflies thinking about that. But basically, I was explaining this academic concept or conspiracy theory to him, and I could feel him looking at me while doing that. Like, you know, that whole thing about how when someone is explaining something that they're really passionate about, and you can just tell the other person's like giving the side eye and like getting really excited about that other person, like that's talking about their passions. Like that meme literally came true. Yeah, it was such a magical moment. And then we went out for a bit and then came back, and he told me that he thinks I am beautiful without makeup and he loves my natural beauty, and I hyped him up too. He told me about some of his insecurities, and we were just complimenting each other, and it was so healthy and sweet and so magical. I felt like I was walking on air. That's how I knew it's him. I want to be with him and him only. Like I told you, I kind of wavered on if I even wanted him, just because at times we went a while without talking to each other during our separation periods. It was a little bit on and off, but after that I realized I still like him, and while he is really special, actually we're both special to each other, like he said, in front of his friends and to me, I'm going to continue to work on my self-concept and manifest him. We have unconditional love, and while I really want him, I just want him to be happy with whoever. My client is a pure soul, okay? I love that. Like, this is, yeah, she's so sweet. Yeah, she said that I would like that person that he ends up with to be me, ideally. But yeah, I will work on self-concept and getting him to be together in the same place. But I just wanted to thank you so much for all your advice. I mean, you really changed my life, and I wanted to write this story to let your followers know that you are the real deal. Thank you so much. So patient and so non-judgmental, which is so rare and amazing. That's so sweet. I really do try to be non-judgmental. Like, one thing about me is like, I will not judge you no matter like what you're going through, what your past was, okay? Like, we all have a past. Okay, we all have made mistakes. We all want certain things out of life. It's a safe space to talk to me. I guarantee you that. Hopefully my clients can vouch for that. Yeah, and yeah, you really changed my life, and you're so patient. Okay, rare and amazing. I'm still on air that all this happened, but wanted to update you that we have been talking after that day, and I'm still so happy. Also, the other affirmations you gave me that worked and are working are, pay attention to this: I only entertain the reality where I have all of my desires. Men have always been loyal to me and committed to me fully. I also just created the assumption that players or F-boys don't exist, and I swear after that he never followed a girl, and he still hasn't. Update like a month later. LOL, I actually thought since he was in my city he would get on a dating app and his following count would go up, but it didn't, at least not with like eligible pretty girls that he would be into, just like friends that he made in the city. He's really changing for the better, which is amazing. I also affirm that my results are permanent. I think this is why he's still been communicating with me and talking to me like almost every day, haha. I've always been able to keep my manifestations. The 3D always conforms to my desires. I only think positive thoughts. I am together. SP and I are in a happy, healthy, committed relationship, you know, going straight to the end. And I also want to let you know that here and there I have, like whenever I have time in the day, I would always just say SP loves me and only me. That also goes to show that while self-concept is important, it is okay to affirm for SP and use their name. I personally do think that works. I think that works too. I would just say, like, you know, in addition to manifesting for your specific desire or specific person, do not forget to do self-concept. Yeah, and then something else I also wanted to point out is that I still liked him this entire time. I still had feelings for him. I didn't detach. I didn't, you know, stop liking him. Like people say, like, oh, you should just forget about them and it'll come back. No, I still liked him. I just decided to put myself on the pedestal and assume that he would meet me there. I just assumed the best version of him. I just assumed that we would get back together. I just assumed that everything that happened would happen, which it did, which I'm so excited about. Yeah, and then she said, thank you so much once again. I'm so grateful for you. Please keep doing what you are doing, as you have been helping so many people, especially with self-concept and realizing their worth. So much love, XOXO, my client's name. Yeah, oh my gosh, was that not like such a motivating, uplifting story? Like, I'm genuinely so happy for her. And this took her, like, I would say, this started happening 2 weeks after a coaching call, and this was like, she also gave me like a month later update. So I mean, I would say like 1 to 2 months is literally all it took for like all of this to happen. Well, technically 2 weeks, but yeah. Hopefully these affirmations help you as well, okay? Like, on my channel, I know I talk a lot about love and manifesting a specific person, but I do give a bunch of self-concept affirmations that help in every area of your life, like you realizing your worth, you only accepting and entertaining the reality, you know, you desire. That will work in every area of your life. Like, for example, for money, I only accept the reality where I'm rich. I only accept the reality where I have more than enough money that I know what to do with. Yeah, and then like let me see a couple of her affirmations. I love like when my clients tell me like which affirmations work, because that's how I know like, you know, what's working, what's not. And, like, I on my calls, like if you've ever had a call with me, I'll give you examples of has what have what has worked best for my clients. I forgot how to talk there, but yeah, I definitely do give a lot of self-concept affirmations, and again, I explain to you why they work. And yeah, like I really keep note and track of the affirmations that have been working really well. Okay. Yeah, but also the thing about like the 3D always conforms to my desires. I always make it a goal to tell my clients, and even on this channel, that you should be saying affirmations that communicate to your subconscious mind that things are always working out for you in the 3D, that you're always seeing what you want to see in the 3D. Okay, so the 3D conforms to my desires, not the other way around. I always see evidence of my manifestations in the 3D. I think it is okay to want to see evidence of your manifestations. I think it is okay to check the 3D occasionally, okay, as long as you don't let it, like, you know, hinder your manifestations or dictate everything. Maybe don't like consistently keep checking it, like don't constantly check it. I feel like, you know, with my client, she said she would occasionally check his Instagram following, and it did not go up, and it's like that's how she knew her affirmations were working. So that's why it's okay to sometimes seek validation from the 3D, as long as you don't let it define your entire self-worth, or you know, just be prepared to, you know, see whatever it's showing you, because at the end of the day, the 3D is a mirror of your internal world, of your internal state. So I would actually say it is a good thing to check the 3D to see, you know, if your affirmations have been working, or like what triggers you need to continue to work on. Okay, again, just don't go like, you know, ham with checking 3D. Like you don't have to check it like every single day, and it's like if you don't want to check their like following count or Instagram profile, you know, you definitely don't have to. But like I always get this question, like, should I check the 3D, should I not? If you're the type of person that gets triggered easily, then maybe don't. But you can also just create the assumption that the 3D is always showing me what I want to see. Okay, so yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video right here. I really hope this helped. Let me know if you have any questions. Do check out my website for my services, which include one-on-one manifestation coaching, um, group manifestation coaching. I also do in-depth tarot readings to help you sort of see where you're at with your manifestations. I also have a guide out on my Etsy that will help you manifest love, whether that be with a specific person, new love, or just, you know, getting a relationship with whoever you want, soulmate love, all of that. So do check that out, and I will see you all next time. Thank you so much.